Employers often overlook the aging worker, according to Katherine Ford, an employment lawyer with Sherrard Kuzz. HR Reporter recently met up with Katherine to talk about how companies can accommodate the aging worker. What are the advantages of hiring someone who would fall into the category of the aging worker?
I think one of the advantages is simply that as we see labor shortages increase and a difference occurring in what our traditional workforce look like, there's advantages because you're accessing a whole different and larger labor market. And I think that that's probably one of the biggest advantages to targeting hiring practices to a mature workforce.
How do you attract older workers?
I mean, that's probably the million-dollar question. I think that from a recruitment perspective, people want to look at a broad variety of recruitment strategies. So certainly we're still using the social media and those types of things. We may want to look at some more traditional approaches as well to advertising in terms of newspapers and those types of things. What employers may also want to do is start looking at targeted sectors of different industries that may have gone through downsizing and that type of thing. So a manufacturing industry, going after people who may have those types of experiences or that type of thing, where we may have groups of mature workers who have recently been laid off or are facing that in the near future.
How do you retain them?
One of the things that employers can think about are what kind of strategies they can put in place to make them both appealing to prospective mature worker employees and as well as retaining the ones that you do have. So that may be looking at more flexible benefit arrangements. So can we offer benefits to people over the age of 65, even if it's a limited package of benefits? Do we have programs in place that allow for people to continue in training and education opportunities so that we have all of our workforce, regardless of age, looking to that next opportunity or that next step in their employment prospects. The last thing we want people to do is get stagnant in their jobs. One of the things that makes mature workers very attractive is that studies seem to suggest that group of individuals often have a really high level of engagement in the workplace. So how do we maintain that? How do we continue to build that in such a way that people still really like coming into work and are excited to do that? And part of that may be that we're offering them future opportunities and they're able to look at what their work life might look like in the years to come.
What sort of risks should managers know about?
Certainly there's no duty to accommodate age per se. I mean, in terms of you can't just make an assumption that because somebody is over a certain age, they are necessarily going to have a disability that requires accommodation. It's going to be a very individual assessment that would apply regardless of the age of an individual. But certainly we understand that under the applicable human rights legislation in each of the provinces, employers have an obligation to accommodate a disability to the point of undue hardship. So again, I think the key in this is always flexibility. What can we do? What can we do to a position, or what modifications can we make to a role that will allow an individual to continue to be able to perform the essential functions of that job? And if the person's original job is not one that we can easily make changes to or provide accommodation to, or if the person's restrictions and limitations are such that they're not going to be able to perform the essential duties of a job even with accommodation, do we have other opportunities for them in the workplace that are going to meet with those physical restrictions and limitations? And again, that's really the same analysis we apply to any disability accommodation, regardless of the age of the worker that you're dealing with.